Hey, you! You're watching this on the YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Hope you're subscribed already. If you aren't, hopefully you are by the end of this video. But if you want more Age of Empires action, it doesn't just have to be limited here. You can catch the games you've been seeing here and more live across my Twitch channel. I might even be live right now. You'll only know if you check in, though. So go over there, follow me there, and make sure you tune for live streams because we have got plenty of games to get through. Like the one that is loading in right now. What up? Welcome back. Number 1v1, Abbasid Dynasty versus the Rus. And it is going to be DauT versus Assassin Ostrich, a.k.a. Bruh. Bruh, who has some experience in Age of Empires 2 as my game crashes. That is great. We'll come back into that in a second. Okay, apologies for that, but we are ready to go this time. Hopefully they sort out those crashes, because I've been noticing them a little bit more frequently with every patch that gets dropped. Optimization, guys. You can wait until later. But yes, this should be an exciting one, because Assassin Ostrich, of course, is Bruh. For those that aren't familiar, Bruh is an Age of Empires 2 player. I think he's Brazilian. He's earned a few $1,000s. So he's on the radar. He's definitely a talented lad. DauT, I doubt... and half the viewers have tuned out at that point. I doubt that he needs any introduction to this channel, the Age of Empires community in general, right? But he is going to be playing what is considered a weaker civ, the Abbasid Dynasty. Not very popular right now, up against Rus, the most overused civ in existence in the game right now. A Christmas man's France, if you will, right? And as a result, in the early game, definitely important, DauT moves out and does exactly this. I love this move. Straight away, starts to snatch away all the crap. And it's definitely a move that you can make more easily as the Abbasids. Remember, the Abbasids gather from the berry bushes almost as quickly as the sheep. So he could easily just move out onto this berry line if he wants to, right? And remember also, the Abbasids, when they drop a mill next to it, it doubles the size of these berry bushes from 250 to 500. So always that to look forward to for him. And just basically collecting them all. Because, of course, wolves are quite valuable, right? Yes, you know where the deer are, and you could start sniping them. But the whole idea is he's going to quickly drag back these lads to the TC, allow the TC to snipe them out, and then he can go snipe the deer afterwards, right? It's a more efficient play. So wolves will fall. In the meantime, in the center, looks like good old Bruh has found some more. Up to 80 bounties so far. Has he hunted yeah, he hunted one of his deer lobes, hasn't gotten to the second one yet, but he's starting to find these straggler wolves. There's a fair few of these on this map, right? Oh, I just forget his name. I'm going to get in trouble from someone calling me for being an idiot. Highview, that's right. I always forget the name of the one with Stelfor. I mean, Highview doesn't, like, I get it, right? Because there's a Highview and then there's, like, tree lines. I'd rather they just call it trees. But obviously, at what point do you end the ease, I guess is the biggest concern. Because, honestly, that's the biggest defining factor about this map. So often we see, right? Whoever has superior vision wins on Highview because of the outposts. So it'll be interesting to see who actually prioritizes those. I think it's a little bit harder in the super early game for Rus because of how expensive the wooden fortresses are. But I definitely think, as we've seen from other Rus players, as you get into that mid-game, as you start to play around the sacred site especially, the power of wooden fortresses compels you. And it might compel DauT to have to react with defensive of his own, right? Maybe thinking about a DauT castle, but not a DauT castle. Wink, wink. So opener is going to be the eco wing as always. Really no deviation. I don't ever expect to see any deviation until a patch actually changes something deep about Abbasid. The fresh food stuff just makes it too juicy, right? Reducing that cost by 50% in the early game allows you to hit a quicker castle age timing. Also allows you to scale into multiple TCs easily. It's one of the biggest details that makes the Abbasid so effective at going multi-TC. Opening-wise, already going on the tech up. We'll beat him to the punchline, remember, because it's a fixed timer on the House of Wisdom tech ups. The kind of benefit is, oh, I don't have to invest any villages into doing this, but the downside, of course, means that you can't speed it up to be even quicker. Which makes the power spike timings at Abbasid a bit wonky. I think like a lot of players have tried, but I still haven't seen anyone truly nail down like the kind of true power spikes of the Abbasids. A lot of the time, up until mid-castle age, anything they do kind of feels reactionary to their opponent, if anything. So far, Bruh doing a good job here. 360 bounty. He is just rolling in the moolah. And he's even snatching more away. Because DauT, he never went for a second scout. Oh, my partner, I didn't know it. But honestly, against a Roost player, I think you can afford this. I think it is worth doing. Especially knowing that you're probably going to go... Yeah, you're definitely going into a second TC later. As you can see, he's already got people on stone. So forfeiting 400 gold for free to your opponent seems like a huge error to me. And now also, another scout coming out. Professional scouts then being researched as he completes the tech up. Means he's going to be able to yoink all the corpses he needs to. And I don't really expect DauT to be going for professional scouts at all. He hasn't got stable. And this is one of the big weaknesses about this matchup, right? Like, if you're talking about any Civ that doesn't have a quick way of rapidly producing scouts at the early phase of the game, they, with the current meta being professional scouts, are a distinct disadvantage, which is why now DauT doubles down on the stone. He needs to get to 2, maybe even 3 TCs, because he understands that up against a Roost opponent, he's not going to be pressured for the first 8 or 9 minutes, right? He'll be left to his own devices, because Roost players are all about that Castle Age rush. That's all they know. It's kind of funny, actually. I feel like most of the people who played Roost in the early days probably don't anymore. The people who try to rush Knights. And now all the people who, like, just rush Castle Age are like, what's a Knight? How does one get those? I don't seem to have access to them in my hunting cabin or my archery range. I'm confused. So TC cost has been amassed. Should be able to drop the second TC. Right over the Deers as well. If he does this quick enough, he'll be able to snipe out a few of the scouts, but it needs to be fast. He plops it down on the new tree line as well. So, nice opening. It's not too tight because, once again, he's playing against the Rus. If he was against France, if he was against Mongols, you would see this TC in range of the primary TC. But he knows there's not going to be any early aggression, so he's able to get away with a more greedy expansion. And this is more optimal and efficient later on, right? Because when you talk about these initial resource points drying up, you have to move villagers somewhere, right? And these villagers are quite pathetically slow at 1.12 tiles. So if you have to move them far off to a new gold line, like if you have to make double this distance, right, it's you missing out on an extra gold drop-off of 10 workers, right? That's actually a huge amount of gold you're missing out on. So straight onto the deer. And this is now protected. There is a way that DauT could still lose these carcasses. I think if Bra sneaks around into the stealth tree line and then comes out, he'll be able to snatch and run away with like half these. He needs to do it quickly, though, if he wants to. But so far, I think... Has he snatched most? Yes, he's taken most of these. There's still 2 left over, 3 left over here. 4? What? Guys, this is the power of the stealth forest. Remember what I told you. If you really want to troll your opponent, hide all the carcasses in the stealth forest and then come back for them later. Reason being is how... Can you see this? Can you see the carcasses right now, guys? There's one right there. All right. Now, I don't know how painful this is on a 1080p. I'm on a 1440 27-inch monitor. But I can tell you it's quite well hidden even now. And wall's going down. So DauT just securing this corner. Prevents the Roost player from getting the relic. Prevents the Roost player from pressuring with Sacred Sites. And then gives him the expansion of the gold vein. Overall, a really solid defensive play. Will support a third TC as well. But DauT not really showing a prioritization to that right now. I think his intent is to get the resources together for a tech up into Castle, and then I would actually like to see him stick some people on stone. Meanwhile, back in the base of the Rus. Looks like we're getting a very speedy timing on the Castle Age, and no surprise considering how much of the early bounty got. 430 gold just fabricated out of thin air. Puts him on the edge of a rapido, almost 8-minute Castle Age timing. It's going to be probably 8-minute to 3 seconds. And there you go. Archer range has dropped down. Didn't have 3 prepped in place yet. Usually you complete this for the 3rd Archer range being down. But I don't mind people who rush the Abbey Trinity a little bit quicker, just because getting these monks out sooner is actually better, right? Because you can then get your hands on your infinite gold treacle faster. Infinite gold treacle, which you should get 4 actually of the 5. I think this is the only relic you're not getting. The rest are in very accessible locations for a Roost player. Meanwhile, in your opponent's base, DauT still doesn't have the resources for the tech up. And it all comes down to that gold difference, folks, right? Like, look at it. 0 people working on gold right now for Bra. Compare that to the Albacids. It's free right now, but that's only because some stopped off to the outpost, right? It's originally 7. That's a huge amount of value saved. And he never really needs gold courtesy of the Golden Gate. I'm kind of expecting the Golden Gate to get moved or nerfed. I think that's maybe one of the biggest power spikes right now for the Rus. And actually, you can kind of see it. If someone had stat breakdowns for landmarks being built, I think Kremlin is non-existent. If you're in the top few hundred, you're probably never building Kremlin. Lower-level players maybe, because they're like, I need the defense. But any high-level player just realizes that if you're ever forced to go Kremlin, you're probably the saddest Rus player in existence. Like, you're just full on Pepe hands 24/7. Woodline hasn't been optimized, by the way. No Wooden Fortress is slightly surprising to me. I think he's at a stage now where he can't quite afford it, though, right? He's got trip archery range, so the wood income is instantly just being spent on the horse archers. But I think he will eventually go for the Wooden Fortress. There's still a lot of value in this tree line. Extra 20%. Then again, he might just save it for this double tree line down here. This is a gorgeous spawn, by the way. Both tree lines right here behind you in an attractive location, third one nearby. You know, you got similar over here for DauT. DauT definitely got huge value out of this corner spawn. Here you go, moving in. Scouts and horse archers will force the wood line away. Can't move any deeper, though. Should be playing for the relics and then straight into the sacred sites. Gives him superior gold treacle. One thing I would actually love to see out of a Rus play in this situation is you're up against Abysses and you have like strength and you have him in a corner. But you know he's going to be multiple TC. So an actual really cool play would be to build into another TC yourself. I don't expect to see it, but I think eventually the meta is going to evolve to that point. And look at that, he spots out the archers, so he needs to back away. So yeah, I 100% now want to see Bra build into a second TC. You force your opponent to be present with a lot of archers in the early game. And as a result, like your horse archers, while they are individually stronger, they are more costly. See, 30-50 compared to the 80-40. Not as much as a final nail in the coffin as it is Magadai versus Archer, but definitely a little bit painful to deal with. And remember, these archers have superior range, right? 5 tower range compared to the 4.5, so they'll hit you first. The castle is reached. So DauT, no longer feeling as vulnerable as he was, is going to continue to drop the archery ranges, is upgrading his archers as well. And pretty much you can hold your opponent at bay as long as you continue to do this, right? Remember that the archers come out quicker than the horse archers. It's 15 seconds compared to the 22 of the Rus horse archers. Push it again. Still outnumbers this archer count. Because of the scouts, right? The scouts can potentially engage and be cannon fodder just tanking. You can see the chase, but he's diving so deep. Outpost to his side, TC being garrisoned as well. Going to lose a lot of these units. And now even a camel archer. I like the idea of this play. Yeah, he went for military wing. So I was about to say, this makes a sense if he built military wing, and he did. Something we don't see very often. Usually it's always culture wing, right? It just feels very good to get those reduced tech costs. And then obviously, you know, you can just heal units later on. Like, there's so many nice things about culture wing that makes it attractive. But I think from his perspective, he needs military wing, he needs that extra armor, which makes sense against the horse archer spam. And then obviously, when you get to Imperial Age timings, there's no way in hell you're considering trade on this map. You potentially could trade from this side to this, but honestly, you're probably just looking at culture. I mean, I'm saying that. The more I'm thinking about, like, maybe you don't even bother with culture. Like, you're not going to get value out of Faith. The other two are kind of okay. But, like, Faith sucks because there's going to be, like, no relics to play around. The monastery situation, right? And you can see the sneak in. Oh, my God. He actually got in with the Warrior Monk. But he will not get out. Very dead here. As he'll be sniped out by DauT's small contingent of archers. How did he just run past? Yeah, so they sniped some villagers and just ran him in. And then he capped the site. He at least gives gold treacle for a minute for his efforts, which means that the Warrior Monk pays for himself more or less, right? It's 100 gold and 20 food. So not the end of the world. And now stable switch up. Yeah, this is the right way to go. Just transition into Knights at this stage. DauT will have to react, and DauT isn't even prepping a reactionary force. It's almost like he's anticipating his opponent's just going to be your stubborn, greedy Rus spammer, right? And only build into horse archers and scouts. But he might be in for a rude awakening. Knights get queued up. Control on 2 of these sacred sites. When we actually look at the income per minute, you can actually see that despite the villager count being 61 to 43, it's still DauT behind, right? This is the power of the buffs for the Rus. Not only the bounty system with the gather rates on food just being a notable increase, but also the passive treacle gold from hunting cabins, from the relics. It's just such a juicy element of this Civ. Give a few more minutes, though, and DauT can surpass him. You can see the numbers are starting to compete. The problem DauT is going to run into is these gold veins will dry up quickly, right? So he's already down to 1,000 on that one. He's already started to pick onto that one now as well. And the horse archers charge in. On the home field, with the armor advantage, the assistance of the towers as well. This should be a decent trade for DauT, but he will in the end lose his archer force. Enough damage done to force Bra back. So Bra now done 20 horse archers in the end. Interesting choice overall to go for the camel archers. Not just for the armor element, but the fact that they like I don't like them outside of dealing with scouts. I think I'm not sure 100%. I don't think they get the damage, bonus damage against light melee. Yeah, it's infantry. What am I on about? Duh. Honestly, like, the thing I was going to say is I don't know why they bothered to word it like this, because I'm pretty sure the camel archers don't get bonus damage against Langsneck, even though that they are light infantry. They only get bonus damage against spearmen. Which is just weird, right? Like, it even says bonus versus spearmen there, but then when you look at the attack breakdown, it says light melee infantry. Curious to know what people's thoughts on this is, because I feel like there's no way that you can argue Langsneck are anything but light infantry. So, weird, considering I'm pretty sure I've never seen the camel horse archers get bonus damage against them. But yeah, the reason he has 4 is, like, obviously if there's 2, they'll snipe them out, the horse archers straight away, and then you get rid of the armor. And nice use of the Abbasids. Unique perk, right? Building out in the field, so get the Mangonel up. Mangonel very effective against these horse archers, 105 health, no armor. And he did start to switch into man-at-arms. I don't want to see too many of these built. Just because you don't know what your opponent's doing yet, right? I understand a small front line, and that's fine, but you need to prep for spearmen. That's what you're going to need, because there's knights coming. I think the only reason he's reluctant to get the spearmen is, like, honestly, you'll just get sniped out with 0 armor by the horse archers so quickly, but once he sees the knights, I expect that switch. It's cost-effective at this stage in the game as well. Usually in the late game, the reason spears just feel worthless and underwhelming is because it's not a qualitative solution to a quality situation, right? Where you can afford anything. Why would you use a pop cap on a spearman? Push in, though. Mangonel, that is retreating so slowly. And it's just going to be burnt. Wasted wood and gold right there. Now the man-at-arms engaging. Camel archers giving that bonus armor over means these archers are lasting longer than maybe they should. Garrison's going to go into the outpost from DauT, trying to hold his own up against Bra. But Bra, so many troops here. Still 6 knights and 3 scouts. And he continues to just trickle out these camel archers. So slow to run away, though, and not getting that bonus damage against any of these units. Definitely not cost-effective compared to the horse archers, right? Yes, they're more tanky, but they cost almost 3 times the resource. And they'll just chase him down. Trying to hold around the choke points, but he needed spears. He absolutely, positively needed spears here. The man-at-arms are not lasting long enough. And I understand why he doesn't go spears, right? 0 armor, slow mobility, but now look how much of your economy is going to be exposed. Horse archers moving in. There's not enough garrison point for every villager here. And DauT going to take a huge hit to his economy. This 20 villager difference is going to be probably close to even by the time that this army from the Rus is done here. And if he goes deep, oh my god, if he goes deeper, DauT is going to be in dire straits. But no, he's lucky. He is so fortunate right now. He had 21 villagers down here that will not be spotted out by the Rus player. Instead, Bra heads north. And now maybe he'll realize the mistake he made, right? If there's nothing here, it must have been in the south further. But instead, he'll just hang around to deal with the military force. DauT, although he's on the ropes, is staying alive. At least for the moment. These camel archers, they're not going to stay alive for much longer. Running back into the horse archers should finish him off. Trying to raid through these outposts now. Yeah, villagers move back out. So many loss for DauT, though. 61 to the 55. Recall the difference maker we talk about, right? Where each of these relics is worth at least 2 villagers. Plus the additional treacle. And you can actually see the switch up. More gold just being finally mined by the Rus player. Understanding that Knights will win him this game. Give him the ability to dive in past the TCs, past the outposts, and just annihilate DauT's lines. And DauT, what is the solution now? You truly dodged a bullet with his stealth forest protecting this gold vein. If this had been spotted out, if this had been sniped out, I would not have been surprised if DauT had just called GG at that stage. But now he has a recovery point. Let's see what it's going to be. Mangonels to be built. Solid solution. Needs a front line to protect them, though. A proper front line. The man-at-arms starting to reach a number where it can potentially do that. Still has to be concerned somewhat about the Knights. Meanwhile, bruh continues to just churn out these Knights. No signs of teching up. Both of them not really holding the additional resources. DauT has surplus gold, but that's only because he has nothing else to spend it on right now. And finally, we are going to get the Spearmen. At least some of them. And he is getting the Phalanx. Thank God. And it's no scummy Phalanx, folks. Just one building doing this. That would never do something so scummy. But what we will do is have some juicy range on these spears. Should make them super effective. And look at the raiding force. Moves away. He's trying to gather the stone here. And I think, yeah, he did just about drop it off. Or he's about to. So we'll drop it off. Garrison in. Raid force on the north side. Mangonel. Decent shot in. Decent damage done. Spears to hold the choke point. Wrap around to try and get on top of the Mangonel. Knights are willing to give their life for this. And a shot straight into the horse archers. Nice dodge out, though. Brought backs up. But now, the Knights in a little bit too deep. Surrounded by the man-at-arms and the Spearmen. They're going to be poked down and to death. And once they're gone, the horse archers will not be able to tank the fire from the TC in the outpost. And they are gone now. So that's going to be a retreat away. That's going to be the army spent. He gets rid of the Mangonel. He forces him off the stone line, but it costs him his main military battalion. Barely any of them walking alive. And these lads will run back to the Roos village. It'll be like the Vietnam situation. You weren't there, man. You didn't see what happened. What I saw was DauT holding in glorious fashion. However, the raids back in on the other side. The split into two forces. Once again, sniping on a DauT's economy. Keeping that gap closed, ensuring he cannot scale his economy past that of Brass. Bruh, we'll at least get one or two more of these villagers before being expired in the back of the base by DauT. With DauT, this is the weakness, right? Man-armed Spearman. That's adorable. Would you like a horse with that? No? Okay, bye. DauT, well, there's no doubt that he is surviving this onslaught. He's not thriving. That's what he needs. He needs a way to scale because the gold has been depleted now. He needs to be able to expand somewhere. Maybe a keep at the front of the base to cover some gold veins. That would be a juicy proposition. But he's got to get in position for that to be viable in the first place. We don't want to see one of those classic DauT castles. We don't want to see him sacrificing almost all his workers to get it built. Instead, it's going to be a new generation DauT castle. One where the villagers do not have to die for its construction. God bless. And now this is problematic. You've only been building knights and horse archers of your bro. You need a switch up. Instead, he continued to double down on the stables. He's not prepped for a tech up. And he hasn't started building siege. Not even a workshop. He did put a second TC. I'm glad this happened in the end. I think he was getting outscaled. This is how he's now competing. DauT 73 compared to Bra at 69. Perfect number. And it's on the wood line, right? It's such a juicy wood line. So much open kind of field farming here that if DauT should ever break out of this ongoing siege, he will completely destroy Bra's economy. So very important he keeps the pressure up, and that's the importance of this mobility force. If this was a man-at-arms army, right? If this was, for example, what DauT has, you wouldn't be able to just like keep pushing your opponent into his base, left, right, and center. But that's the power, really. That's the true power of the Roos and the cavalry focus, is they're able to actually just raid you on multiple fronts and always keep you on your toes before, you know, putting you on your back. It's so quick to just harvest all the gold here. DauT still not considering a tech up yet, though. How would he, right? He needs to keep rebuilding. He needs to keep building a bigger army. He needs 3-4 Mangonels to feel comfortable. And look at this keep. This is what I would define as a keeper of a keep, right? This is a juicy one. This is a perfect location. Your opponent is not looking. It prevents the expansion onto the berry bushes later, and more importantly, denies him moving out to the north side. You're funneling your opponent into his own death, right, is the goal here. The problem I do see is you don't really have anything present in the center, right? There's nothing to deny your opponent moving out here right now, and you see exactly that. Mangonel's going to back off. Just trying to push these forces past. They would just click to move, so he loses several of them on the way through. Big mistake made there. And it is covering the keep from going down, right? But there is going to be a decap on the center. Main force is coming. Vision game. A little bit poo-poo right now. DauT just about gets a glimpse of what's coming his way, though, so he needs to keep the Mangonel clustered right next to the infantry. And I do not expect an engagement to come out of Bra. Bra has to allow this to be decapped right now. He has to be content with the fact he gets to keep down the north. In fact, he could try and save up for a secondary keep, just completely block this in and ensure there's never a way to go north. He needs to find that additional value, right? If you're going to do that, I would prefer a keep here, where DauT is right now, right? Next to the gold veins. And look at this. Braces for the charge. Mangonel's about to be flanked, though. And this pinch coming out. The Mangonel's the most important thing to protect. They try to back it up. Mangonel gets one shot out. Decent damage, but now the Horse Archers can kite you. So you need to get as many of these Knights before falling here. And it looks like he's treacled in the approach, right? He's stemmed off the assault from the south, but in the end, he's outnumbered here. More Spearmen and Man-Arms coming out, but they are so slow. DauT never will get a chance to complete this outpost. He is pushing back somewhat. However, look at the wood line now! Okay, I love this play out of Bra. He's stripping away the limited resources that DauT has at his disposal. DauT stopped actually going through this wood line, right? He wants to create open ground that makes DauT uncomfortable, give him more fluidity, more mobility. However, DauT loved this move out into the center with the outpost down to cover this gold expansion. He already trained and picked dry the opposing one next to the keep, right? So he just needs to start moving as quickly as possible and strip mining the center of the map because he knows his opponent is have to move for them soon, right? Like, if he's getting limited, even though you've got that infinite trickle to roost, with the amount of Knights he's producing, he has to be suffering somewhat on his resource front as well. And as we can see on the numbers, like, yeah, he's actually saving up well, but the food is always a struggle. He always has to keep churning out these units. Nice use of the cannon fodder. Pushes them out to cover the outpost being constructed. Mangonel being built in the forest as well to try and catch his opponent off guard. Outpost hasn't been fully complete, though. Knights get baited by it. Horse Archers can at least snipe it out for free. And the Mangonel is complete. Looks for a shot. Nice back away there, just in time by Bra. But this is starting to turn against him, right? He didn't go for that impage. He got locked in like this. And DauT has, for a long and arduous slog, drawn his way, pulled his way back into this game, and now has control of the center area of the map. And this keep that seemed like such a cheeky and smart play coming out of Bra is almost worthless at this stage. Right, your woodline has gone as well because the outpost scoured you out the whole time. Beautifully done, by the way, always seeing them as they approach those trees. So you lose that villager expansion. Now look at the eco count. Ooh, good God, Bra. He's not been producing villagers the whole time. There's no way he's been producing villagers the whole time, right? Like, he should be close to this number. Yes, I know DauT had a head start on the TCs, but this still doesn't explain the difference. It feels like he's been food capped a lot of the time, courtesy of the constant trickling out of Horse Archers from 6 archery ranges. Not to mention the Knights that also cost a bulky 140 food each. And DauT, he understands. Having budgeted for the winter, he will ironically beat the Roost through it. And he'll come out the other side much stronger than his opponent. Building the Mangonels, the Battering Rams, looking to drop an aggressive keep in his opponent's base. Oh, if anyone knows a lot about castles, it's definitely him. And no threat to his economy anymore. But remember how much this is exposed. You've got your military production on the front line. You lose that, you're in trouble. Immediately after it, you've got unprotected economy all around you in open fields. And this is a problem. DauT. He smells weakness, and he will look to pounce. Battering Ram just helping to get through these archery ranges quickly. Keep is almost complete, and that is going to be a problem. He built Battering Rams of his own, yes. He has started to transition to the Man-at-Arms, but does he match up well enough? The Mangonels is the difference maker. The Mangonels could end his existence here, and they will look to. Shots out. Heavy damage. The splash is good. Most of them are almost dead, if not about to be. And DauT backs up the Mangonels. Maybe lose one, but they definitely found their value already. Under the defense to the keep, the Man-at-Arms are going to be spent. The Battering Rams are chasing in, but they'll be spent quickly afterwards. And it looks like this game just might have been solidified for DauT. I just don't see any way that you can come back into this now. The Battering Rams look pretty hopeless. A second keep going down next to it, this time from the Roost player. But DauT doesn't care. He won't allow that. Cluster bombs push in from the Mangonel. And it's a cute attempt, but with your economy already behind, with your military force spent and burnt to the cinders, there is no way back into this. DauT will solidify his victory. After a hard early game, he bounces back and he shows Roos how it's truly done here on Highview.